What up, guys? It's your boy Kevin Yee, the PharmD. Today I'm going to be talking about pharmacy burnout and what to do about it. Stay tuned. What up, guys? It's your boy Kevin Yee, the PharmD. For y'all that don't know, I'm a pharmacist. And recently, I saw this Z-Dog MD video. Shout out to my boy Brian, because he actually introduced me to Z-Dog MD. And when I was going through his page, I was like, damn, this doctor has better pharmacy videos than I do. I can't let this fool beat me. But for real though, I think it's actually a great thing, because the more voices we have, it puts a better face for us healthcare professionals as a whole. And so I really like his videos. They're really entertaining. I love his energy. He's a really good person to follow. Anyways, so I was watching this video by Z-Dog MD, and he was talking about clinician burnout. And man, I totally resonated with it. He was covering a story where this doctor was actually went off at a patient, went bad, fucking just lost it. As a fellow healthcare professional, I totally relate. And so Z-Dog MD was talking about clinician burnout and the factors that go into it, right? Some of the things is lack of autonomy, so not having full control over your clinic, your site, and whatnot. Increase in busy work and admin work. And getting abused by patients, and having that thought of the patient is always right mentality, which is simply not true. I mean, that is the reason why they come visit us, because we are the professionals, right? And as I was sitting through this video, I was like, shit. And these are the same factors that go into pharmacy burnout. It's one of the reasons why community pharmacy has such a high turnover rate. Just like clinician burnout, lack of autonomy. A lot of the time, we just feel like we don't have control over our pharmacy. Maybe it's lack of staffing, lack of help, in the pharmacy. We can't run the things that we want to do due to, chain pharmacy kind of closing in and try to hone in on everything, or controlling our metrics and stuff like that. Also, increase in busy work and admin work. I know for me personally, I struggle with this because I feel like a lot of time, a lot of the regulatory requirements, a lot of the corporate requirements, they all start building up. This is on top of all your work, and it goes back into lack of autonomy, because you feel like you don't really have full control over your actual pharmacy, right? And a lot of the time it sucks, because the whole reason why we go into this field is to actually help our patients. All these things, they take away from actual patient care. And the last thing was abuse and profanity. Until Z-Dog MD's video, I didn't realize how many health professionals, especially nurses and all that, get abused physically and verbally by their patients. I have it in my pharmacy too, but I think it's also very different being a male. And as someone who trains MMA and whatnot, I don't have that same fear, because I know that I can handle myself, right, in an altercation. Whatever shit anybody says, at the end of the day, for the general population, unless you're Nate Diaz or some UFC fighter or Conor McGregor, most likely I can handle myself in a self-defense situation, right? And so I don't have that same fear. But a lot, especially females, like my other fellow pharmacists, it's scary sometimes. You might have to refuse a controlled substance against a man who is a lot bigger than you, who can easily take control of you physically, and it's very scary. Even if they don't assault you and stuff, the thought of the patient is always right, or that the switch from patient to customer, is actually very, very dangerous. We are advocating the best advice for our patients. We have to go in with that intent. But sometimes what's best for a patient isn't what we think is best for a patient isn't what the patient thinks is best. For example, I'll tell you this, opioid abuse. There are situations where the patient really wants their their pain meds or their Xanax, or they want something early. You know, like, I can't blame the patient, because sometimes you build up a dependency on these medications, especially for those control medications, right? And so they take out all their frustration on you. They yell at you, they swear at you, they're like, fucking fill it. You know, I've had patients say that. And at the end of the day, it's not safe for the patient. It's our job to say no. It's our job to take care of our patients, even if they don't think that we're taking care of them, right? What do some pharmacists do? If you're really intimidated and you're just like, fuck it, I just want this patient out of my face, you'll fill the prescription. And we can't allow that. You know, we can't allow that dynamic where the patient takes control of how we practice. That's just not how things go. We, at the end of the day, like I say, we are always the expert. We are licensed, you know, they aren't. We are educated. We are held to a higher standard than most of the other population, right? And we can't allow this positive reinforcement for this bad behavior. You know, we can't allow our patients to swear at us, to contribute to this really toxic environment. I think a lot of time, like when I look at lack of autonomy, increase in admin work, abuse and profanity from our patients, a lot of it is our fault. You know, because for so long, like a lot of us who go into pharmacy or healthcare professional, as a healthcare professional, we have a tendency to people please a lot. You know, people please like, I have this tendency and I'm always trying to work on it. We have a tendency to people please our supervisor, people please our patient. Sometimes like we neglect and we forget our role in the pharmacy as well. You might be asking, what can I do about it, Kevin? Like, maybe I'm in a community pharmacy. I can't control my reimbursement rates. I can't say no to my boss. I can't do X, Y, and Z. And I want to empower you today, because something I actually, for a long time, I've actually held those beliefs, right? You know, you have to just realize that nothing will ever be perfect. But there's a few things that you can do. So if you feel like you don't have control over your pharmacy, and you feel like it's just way too busy all the time, ask yourself, what are some tools that I can use at my disposal right now to help lessen that burden? So I use text messaging, appointment-based modeling, which really, if you don't know what appointment-based modeling is, it's really it's a really cool thing, because it makes almost the pharmacist like a QB, quarterback. Take a look at that. That definitely helps. Automation is so important. Maybe batching your tasks all at once, especially during dead times. Those are the most important. It's almost like a restaurant where, you know, like you're always prepping, you know, in the pharmacy. There's always shit to do. Those are some of the ways that you can sort of get control. You know, even if it's like one or two things, it's better than nothing. A lot of time we just want to go 0 to 100, but we forget 80% is better than 0%, you know? And trying to shoot for that 100% will get you frustrated and leave you really pissed off and not wanting to do stuff anymore. If you are struggling with increased busy work and admin work, a lot of time it's the lack of communication between your supervisor and yourself and your team. So one thing I do every single week is actually send out a sort of team roundup type of thing. I haven't decided what I wanted to call it, but it describes what exactly is going in my pharmacy, what my current initiatives are, the status of them, what I need from each team member, any questions I have. And it makes everybody feel good, because no one is left in the dust. Everybody knows what's going on. And if the ball gets dropped, because, you know, sometimes like with a huge team, things don't get, people drop the ball sometimes. Maybe they forget, you know, but at least you have documentation that you mentioned it, you know, and that it's stated in the email. So that's one thing I've been doing a lot. And I feel like ever since I started doing this, I've been having a lot more empathy from my supervisors and whatnot. When things are just so busy, they understand that, you know, Kevin is a hardworking person who takes initiative in his pharmacy, you know? The final thing with abuse and profanity. This is probably the hardest thing because, like I said, a lot of pharmacists, we are very people-pleasing type of personalities, right? Not all of us, maybe you're different. But for me, as a people pleaser, like, this has been really hard for me. And I don't enable controlled substances at all. I'm very strict on that. But we can't allow our patients to run our pharmacy. Like, I care deeply about my patients a lot, you know? Like, I know everybody by a first name basis. I know their personal life, you know? But at the same time, you have to remember, our patients come to us for our expertise. And if they don't like it, at the end of the day, there's tons of other pharmacies out there, and maybe it's a better match to go somewhere else. You have to be willing to lose that patient, you know? We have to have an abundance mentality when it comes to patients, you know? Maybe you can't, like, with your resources, your team, you can't help this patient, but if you refer them somewhere else, maybe they will. And this is so that you can say yes to the patients that you can help, right? And when somebody is rude to you, or they swear at you, or anything like that, try your best to you want to respect yourself, and don't let these people walk all over you. And you don't have to be like, if they say like, fuck you, just fill it, right? You don't have to be like, fucking bitch, I'm gonna fucking heel hook you. You don't have to do that. All you really need to do is honestly just be like, hey, you know, I don't appreciate what you're saying. If you want to come back to my pharmacy, you are more than welcome to. But if you're going to use that language, you can't, we're not going to fill your prescription. And a lot of times they'll be pissed, but it's okay. At least you make a decision to really end this patient abuse to you. You know, they're going to bitch and scream. They're going to call your manager. But at the same time, this is your pharmacy. Your name is under this list. Your name is under this pharmacy. And I always go with the mindset that maybe this person's having a really bad day, right? But it doesn't give you the excuse to treat other people like shit. I'm not your punching bag. I'm your pharmacist. I'm supposed to take care of you, you know? This is something I feel very passionate about because I see so many pharmacists get so hurt by their patients, by the things that they say. I know friends that have cried because their patients were just straight up rude to them. You know, don't take this bullshit. And it's time to start really standing up as pharmacists and letting ourselves feel empowered. You know, it's hopeless bullshit. We can't allow this anymore. I know I went off on a huge kind of tangent, but let me know what you guys think about pharmacy burnout. It's a very real thing, and hopefully, you know, by more awareness and having these conversations, it will hopefully get better. Because believe me, there are ways that we can have a profitable pharmacy and help our patients better by creating an environment that's more positive toward relieving the stress of pharmacy burnout, so we can focus on our patients more. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace. Bam.